As I keep going, I see an adult, still a young man, dead down the hallway. But here's the most remarkable thing, and I'll never forget this, ever. I look behind me to see who's going to go into this with me. And I'll never forget, as a young trooper, I don't even know who this kid is, young trooper, baby face looking kid, just started his police career. And I saw absolute fear in his face. But here's the remarkable thing. He still went in and did his job. It takes a very special individual, man, to have the courage to do that day in and day out.
All right, Chief Mike Tamez, thank you for joining me in the den.
My pleasure and my honor, Pastor.
It's
Thank
a blessing to have you with us.
Likewise.
I saw you earlier today at the ribbon cutting for the Young Futures with Dr. Eddie Borchard. Let's just open that up, which was a co-effort with the city of Robstown, Mayor David Martinez, spearheading that with the council and working together alongside County Judge Connie Scott, Commissioner John Mattis, and the rest of the Commissioner's Court. And they did an excellent job with the project. There was a great turnout out there for the ribbon cutting.
You know, Pastor, I'll tell you this real quick, and I know we're going to probably segue into this later, but man, I was thinking about this, and this, what happened today with the ribbon cutting, right? Mm-hmm. Think about how much work, positive work can get done when government works together like it did.
Absolutely.
It's amazing, man. Everything that took place, not one negative thing about what happened today. Not one.
Absolutely. I think getting into that, Mayor David Martinez has been doing an excellent job with our community. One of the things that I've noticed from him and I've shared on my social media is that he has a vast network of organizations and other government entities that he has brought together to really bring some positivity to our town, hasn't he?
Yeah, and I think, and I've talked to the mayor about it a few times that some of the things he needs to advertise, right? But he does it. I think when the way he looks at it is it's done from a deep down goodness in his heart, where the intention is to do something great, like what happened today. But I promise you this, that 90% of the folks that maybe got to see what happened today never knew he was behind the scenes working with the council to get this done in the city. And I think that speaks volumes about a professional that, that truly, that's giving it with a giving heart, It's not about just the, I did this, I did that kind of deal with the mayor. And that's what I've seen. And you're right. He works behind the scenes on a lot of things, man. And there's a lot that I don't know about. I just get to see the end result, and your end result has been great, But, Pastor, I'm just glad, man, that our government, our city government, was able to collaborate with the county government, man, and make something great happen. It just seems like these days, man, it's such a rarity in government.
It is a rarity, and what's hard, I think, for a person like him is very hard to toot your own horn. Yeah. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And the loud people are usually, the negative people, the adversary, the opposition is usually very loud. So they kind of try to spotlight negativity in our community. That'll never get us anywhere. I've had the privilege of seeing some of the behind the scenes and being a fly on the wall on some of his meetings and conversations and stuff like that. The man is everywhere. Yeah. He's unlike a lot of the previous administrations to where they work and they come in and they do a little bit here. This guy's like on a constant move, an effort to bring something positive to our communities. I know he's brought in a lot of stuff, and we could be here for a while talking about that. But I just think that credit needs to be given where credit is due. Yeah. As a matter of fact, you're one of the reasons or he is one of the reasons that you are in our community. Yeah. And it's a blessing to have you. Just having the opportunity to talk to you a little bit before, you have a vast knowledge on leadership. You have experience with the Marines. You are a United States Marine, and you've had experience in battle and in wartime. And tell me a little bit about that.
Yeah. So I think, diving into it, I can tell you, so I am blessed to have the title, to have earned the title Marine. And, I think the key word in all of that is earned. Nothing that's ever good is ever just going to be given to you,
Right.
And, every male in my family has served in the military at some level, right? I'm the only Marine.
Mm-hmm.
I guess I'm the only smart guy in the family, or I just like the punishment the most. I don't know what it is, man. But I have the privilege and honor to say that, like so many before me, that I earned the title.
Mm-hmm.
I've earned that title, and the one thing the Marine Corps does really well is who they recruit and why they recruit. So, and I'll tell you that for me, and this is what I've really done with our command staff. I've allowed that to segue itself, right? Like we can see so many parallels from how what gets to the Marine Corps, right? What makes the individual Marine go through boot camp and earn the title. And then you look at it as to, okay, this kid's there, and once he's a Marine, what makes the Marine Corps this? It gives it the mystique, right? And the thing about it is this, and this is a fact, that every other branch of the military struggles to reach, and not anymore with this new administration, part two, they struggle to reach their recruitment goals. The Marine Corps has never missed their recruiting goals. And you have to ask yourself why, right? So you look at it, why are they like that? How can we utilize that mindset and the tools that they do, right? And I'll tell you what makes them successful. There's a shared consciousness in the individuals that want to become Marines. Nobody's making you become a Marine. And if you look at all the billboards and poster boards and all the advertisement, there's one thing their message has been constant. We don't promise you contracts. We don't promise you money. We don't promise you all these things like other branches do. We offer you one promise, an opportunity to become a United States Marine. Mm-hmm. So think about the individual you're bringing in. Every single individual in boot camp with you has already set themselves aside from everybody else. I'm not doing this for the money. I'm not doing this because I love punishment. But if you look at it, 13 weeks, it's the longest boot camp in the United States. Arguably the hardest boot camp in the world, right? You get the worst equipment. I can tell you straight up, that is 100% true, right? We have a lot of negatives with it. So why are we still at 100%? I'll tell you why, because the strength comes from recruiting the right people. Mm-hmm. So that's one thing, man, that's really helped me with this department, is to build a pride in saying, we're not just going to take everybody that wants to be a Robstown police officer. Why? Because I've heard this over and over again. The police department hires anybody. And that's the downfall of the Robstown Police Department. It's not. You have incredible leaders at the organization, man, that have been there a long time. Mm-hmm. It's not just the upper management, right? The man or the woman who shoulders that burden is the chief of police. Mm-hmm. And he should. But at the same time, we need to find a way to build this, I guess, this ethos that we truly believe in, that what segregates us, right? Like the Marine Corps. So I've pulled a lot of that in, and I got to see it every day, man. Every day when I was in the Marines. When I was in Iraq, my very first mission where we were leaving the wire, I probably had about 30 kids with me. And I was older when I went my last tour to Baghdad. I was 34-ish, somewhere around there. That's old in the military.
What was the average of your
18
team? Wow.
A bunch of babies, right?
Wow.
Yeah. So I was a convoy commander. I managed convoy security for a whole bunch of different pieces out there. We're in the infantry. That was our specialty. Not necessarily convoy protection, but we were shooters, and that's what you want, protecting some of the infrastructure that we moved, right? But I'll never forget, man, something I said to these young men. And at that time, there was only men in the infantry. They wouldn't allow females in at that time, right? So I'll never forget, man, my first mission, I looked out at these guys and I said, let me tell you something, man. The reason I know this country will always be the greatest country in the world is because at that time, we had two wars going. We had Afghanistan and Iraq. We still have men that are volunteering in the infantry to do a job that guarantees will put them somewhere in a bad place, somewhere around this globe. And at a time of 2 wars, you can almost guarantee you're going to end up in a combat zone. And think about that, man. That individual that wants to do that. That's what makes us successful. 100% makes us successful. That we recruit the right people. And those right people are the ones who go into this culture knowing good and well what the culture is going to be like.
Have you watched that movie 12 Strong?
I have. Great movie.
So I've played paintball before, right? And I'm hiding behind barricades and stuff like that, and I'm getting hit anyway. So I'm watching the movie 12 Strong, and here these guys. It's a true story, right? Or at least a story on true events.
Yep.
These guys are riding into this area on horses, and they're getting shot at. And these are real bullets. You don't just wipe it off and keep going. Live another day, right? But and I was like, wow. Just experiencing the whole paintball thing. That one time, I think I played it, and then I went to watch the movie, and I'm like, wow. It takes a special breed of men to take on a challenge like that and to sacrifice for the country like that.
Yes. The only individuals that I know that I had the honor to work with at that time were the spouses of those men. I commanded a lot of guys over there in Iraq. And I will say this, Pastor. Had it not been for my wife and who she is, brother, I would have had a tough time, man. And I'll give you one example. I'm prepping for a mission that's going to go the next day, right? And at that time we had Skype. Remember Skype? It's like today's Zoom. So I have my computer facing me, right? My wife, when it's daytime over there, it's nighttime over here. So I call my wife up on Skype and we start talking. I'm going on a mission the next morning. And I get a knock at the door in my room. I said, hey, can we go? I got what you requested, right? And I looked at this guy, my supply sergeant. I was like, just put it over there. Just nonchalant, put it over there. Okay. And I tried shielding my wife from seeing the camera. And Rebecca, my wife, she says, Mike, what was that? And I said, Beck, it's not something I need for a mission tomorrow. You know, it is what it is. She's like, no, what is it? And I said, Beck, it's something I need for a mission. She goes, I'm not going to let you stop. Just tell me what it was, Mike. And they were body bags. They're body bags. And as soon as I told her they're body bags, let me tell you something, man. Her visceral response was, never be afraid to tell me something like that. I know who you are. I know what you do. And I want you to be focused. Don't ever be afraid. And she says, and I also want another thing from you. When you go out on missions, don't ever think about me. You have to have clarity. And she's right. I've had the same speech here, Pastor, on an active shooter call that happened a few years ago at the nursing home. Yeah.
I remember that.
Yep. When I met with all the officers after that, they had a mass counseling type of deal, right? I brought that up because there were folks there that the question was something like, who were you thinking about on your way to the second scene? So we had a scene over here that was active, 3 down. And then we get a 911 call that there's 2 more down and somebody's inside the house shooting. So at that time, it's very fluid. The information we had led us to believe that maybe the shooter shot 3 people in this room, took off before we got there and went to a house to go finish him off. Right. At that time, I was running the task force here. So I didn't know the families. I didn't know anybody. But the officers there did. And they said, holy smokes, man, that family is related to those dead people. So the question was, what were you thinking about on your way to the second scene? Okay. Some individuals, they said, I was thinking about my family, my kids, all right? And when it got to me, I thought I sounded a little callous, but I think it's something that needed to be said. And I said, let me tell all of you guys something, man. When you think about things like that, guess what you're not thinking about? What the business of doing this job. Business of doing this job, man. Right. And that's something that I learned from my wife. Don't think about me. Stay focused. Be all in when you're dealing with that. Right. And I told him that. I said, you got to push all it aside, man, and start playing in your mind. Get ready to get in a gunfight over there, because chances are it's probably going to happen. So I've managed to, pull from some of those experiences into the police world and lend as much advice as I can like that with policing.
Yeah, it's a tough job. You guys are running into things that other people are running away from.
Oh, yeah.
Gunshots go off. You guys are running towards them.
That's right.
Everybody else is running away from them. What mindset do you have to be in? I'm assuming that when you have your badge on, it's different than when you have it off in a certain extent, to a certain extent. Because let's just say you're at the mall with your family, on your off duty.
Mm-hmm.
Your instinct would probably be to get your family to safety first and then go respond, I would assume. I don't know.
No, not mine.
No.
Not mine. And the reason I can tell you 100% not mine, my wife and I and daughter have had these conversations.
Okay.
If shooting goes down, get out of the building, call 911, let them know what we're wearing, give them a description. We're going to go after this guy, guy, girl, whoever. Right? We got to put an end to this thing. And again, it takes an individual that believes in something much more than self. Right. Much more than self, man, to do this job. And it's unfortunate throughout the United States that, folks have given us a bad name.
Mm-hmm.
They have. But, the community needs to understand, man, there's far more good cops than there is bad cops.
Right.
There really, really is, man. And I have no doubt, Pastor, that every single officer under my command at that department would run into gunfire to save people's lives.
Yeah.
No doubt.
I think your rational person understands it.
Mm-hmm.
I think people they just are anti-authority, will reject any officer, good or bad. They just don't like authority or anything that has to do with it. I got raised by a police officer. My dad was a police officer, and he was a disciplinary. He was authoritative.
Mm-hmm.
So I learned to respect authority.
Yeah.
Right. And that's why we're able to honor men and women who put on the uniform as police officers, as military, but also as police officers. My older brother went to the Marines. He was 17 years old. My dad would give us an ultimatum whenever we graduated. He says, you're going to do one of a few things. You're either going to go to school, or you're going to get a job, or you're going to the military.
Yeah, good choices.
Yeah, or you're going to leave here. You're just not going to stay here and just bum around. Those are your options.
Great choices.
Well, my brother decided to go to the Marines. So my dad was like, that's not what I wanted you to choose. But he allowed him to.
Yeah.
And he tried to get my uncles to talk some sense into him and stuff like that. But he was kind of like dead set on going. I think it was beneficial to him.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't do very well in high school, but when he came back, the discipline he earned from there caused him to be on like the dean's list, the Del Mar stuff. He did very well and got an education for himself. But he picked the toughest, what we consider to be the toughest branch. Although we respect all branches, there's something about a Marine, and they carry themselves different. What kind of a mindset do you walk around with on a daily basis, knowing that you are a Marine? I'm assuming you walk around with.
Good question, man. I don't think I've ever been asked that in an interview. It's conflating a mindset and ego.
Yeah.
Right? But here's how I put in perspective for some folks. We fight an enemy. And when I say that, we fight an enemy. During the global war on terror, we fought an enemy where the vast majority of our opposition was Islamic. And that's not a knock on Islam. That is not a knock on it at all. That's a fact. It's a fact. And think about this. In the United States, we value life. You have cops rushing in buildings to save people, right? We value life. Over there, guess what, man? You become a martyr, you can enjoy the perks of heaven, right? So we're fighting an enemy that doesn't have the same type of fear Americans do, right? You got to be a good soldier when you fear no death. Think about that, right? We value life here.
Right.
You get shot at here, you're ducking. You get shot over there, you become a martyr.
Yeah, they have a different set of values and morals. In some of my visits to Israel, some of the one of the comments that I heard from a Jewish person was, when we're talking about Palestinians now, not necessarily just Islam all over, but that is their particular religion out there. And he said, when the Palestinians learn to love their children more than they hate the Jews, we will have peace.
Yeah, I agree.
And they hate the Jews more than they love their children. And it's amazing. I don't know what your take is on Israel retaliating and going into Gaza and kind of trying to destroy Hamas. But I've given the illustration because for whatever reason, right now we got some of the popular podcasters and people of influence talking about how Israel's committing genocide, or was, at least before the peace treaty that Trump brought out there. But they were upset with Israel because of the death and the killing that was taking place. And I said, man, let me give you an illustration of why Israel is doing what they're doing. If you had a neighbor who had a couple kids, young kids, you had 2 young kids, and he was always messing with your kids, always. But the only way you could retaliate against him is if you hurt his kids first. You're going to hold back. You're going to be patient. You're just going to like, it's okay. But one day you wake up and you hit your son over the head with a baseball bat and raped your 8-year-old daughter. What do you do now? After years of what do you do now? I had somebody tell me, kill him. I was like, yeah, but you got to hurt his kids first. Kill him. Because at first it was like, well, So they were able to, or willing to, overlook the life of the children and said, I'm going to wipe out the threat to my children once and for all. If he doesn't care enough of his children to not do what is going to draw that action against them, then that's on him. But I will not allow him to ever touch my children again. And being able to go to Israel and talking to some people out there, and we were in like a military zone, very close to the Gaza Strip where tourists really don't go.
Yeah.
Got to talk to some military people, and they're talking about the Iron Dome, how it protects them. And he says, sometimes I wish it didn't work. And it was a group of pastors, and they say, why would you not want it to work? He says, well, so we can just get it over with.
Yeah.
So because Israel will never retaliate unless they hurt our people.
Yeah.
October 6th, they did it. And October 6th, Israel decided to finish them off once and for all.
Yeah.
It's not their fault that Hamas and the Palestinians will hide under schools and under hospitals and stuff like that.
Take hostages. And
You're going to do what you got to do.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I see what you're saying. It's a totally different set of values that they have out there.
It's totally different, and it, going back to the mindset, I think it's safe to say anybody that knows a Marine, they've experienced some type of ego with that Marine, thinking he is God's gift to war, right? He's invincible. The Marine Corps has told him, you're the best. There's nobody close to being a Marine, right?
Yeah.
Is that necessarily a bad thing when you go to war?
Not at war.
Not at war, brother. That's the individual you want on your side. Somebody that's fearless. That's what you want. You want somebody that's aggressive. You want somebody to your left and your right that are not going to be afraid to get shot at or be shot, right? We want that. Why? Because our enemy doesn't fear it.
So how do you assimilate that back into normal life? Because that mindset, that attitude is still there to an extent, but obviously you're not at war.
Yeah.
So you have to rearrange it somehow.
I think when you come to grips with 2 things. One, when we go to war, I think the cliche is We fight those battles for the Constitution, right, that we serve, a document. But that's not the truth.
Mm-hmm.
Who do you fight for? Your friends to your left and your right.
Mm-hmm.
That's who you fight for, right? That's who you fight for. And if they kill one of your friends, what's your emotional mindset going to be when you go back after the enemy? Anger, a lot of anger, right? I had a friend of mine, Sergeant Lara. He fought in Fallujah, Phantom Fury in 2003. Sergeant Lara went into one alleyway in Fallujah with 12 Marines. He came back with 4 of these young men that he lived with, who fought with him, who trained with him, who worked up to go to Iraq with him, right? But he didn't stop. Instead, he channeled his anger and went right back after those guys. Over here, we can't do that. Cannot do that. So the difference is over here is when you go into an active shooter situation, right? You got to stop the threat. But you also have to remember, man, there's a lot of humanity in there. We're dealing with Americans who might be dead, injured, whatever, shot. You're going to deal with all of that, right? But we are American police officers. We're not the military. So we can't go into this charging head forward just saying anything gets in our way, we're going to plow through it. Mm-hmm. We will plow through it, right? We have to have a certain level of discipline that lets us know this is not about anger. This is about saving lives. And if I go into that active shooter situation, like we just discussed at that funeral home, or at the what's it called?
Young Futures.
So when you go in there,
you're talking about the nursing
home, yeah, right. When you go in there, you can't do it with anger like that. Mm. You just can't. It's not the same, right? It's not the same. You are going in there in a situation like this to end a threat that's going to continue to take lives if you don't intervene and you don't put that threat down. I will say this, Pastor. I was first on scene at the house, right? And when I arrived, there's a lady screaming, pointing at a garage door that's open. She's saying, he's in there, he's in there. So I enter the garage, my weapon out, and I start to work to clear it. And there's a door that's open going into the house. And I start to pie that door slowly, trying to get a good snapshot of the interior of it before I even penetrate the threshold. It's common. So as I'm going, I can see a little set of feet. It's a little boy. I think he's 12 years old. Mm. Then as I keep going, I see an adult, still a young man, dead down the hallway. But here's the most remarkable thing, and I'll never forget this, ever. I look behind me to see who's going to go into this with me. And I'll never forget, as a young trooper, I don't even know who this kid is, young trooper, baby face looking kid, just started his police career. And I saw absolute fear in his face. But here's the remarkable thing. He still went in and did his job. It takes a very special individual, man, to have the courage to do that day in and day out. I absolutely am honored to lead a department that has officers that are willing to put themselves in harm's way to save people's lives. Man, it's amazing how incredible these people are, man. And I don't know how I got so lucky to have great cops like this. Mm-hmm. When I tell my officers I love you, I mean it.
Yeah.
And I do tell them that. I mean it. I mean it. Because it's not just a job for us. It's a brotherhood. Mm-hmm. It's a brotherhood, man. And I've seen it firsthand with these cops. Never know what they're going into, right? But they have an unwritten contract that says, I'm going to do my job up to the point of even sacrificing my life so that others may live. Think about that, how powerful that is, man. Mm-hmm. And every day I put this badge on. Every day I get the honor to wear this uniform. Brother, let me tell you something, man. I am blown away. I am absolutely blown away at how incredible these people are. And I ask myself, how do I get so lucky, man? How did I get so lucky to have officers who went into work yesterday at 8 o'clock in the morning to start their shift and didn't get home till 5 p.m. today? And their motivation? To catch murder.
Mm-hmm.
Where do we find those people, man?
Yeah.
It's amazing to see.
Yeah. Speaking of that murderer, we had a tragic event that took place yesterday here in Robstown. I don't know all the details. Maybe you can share with me what you're able to share with me. I know a young man of 14 years old was shot. Execution style is what I heard. I don't know the details.
No, I think that when we say execution style, immediately the image that pops into your brain is somebody on their knees or right laying down, face down, just shooting him in the head and executing him. And that wasn't the case in this situation. It does stem from a shooting we had over the weekend. We currently have one of the murderers in custody for murder. We have located several firearms already. We know for sure 2 are possible. One is definitely going to be linked to the shooting. We just have to do a ballistic analysis on the other one as well. And we have a juvenile being detained right now on controlled substance case that is probably going to be upgraded to murder here very, very soon. And we have 2 outstanding that we know who they are. We're going to hunt them down. We are going to hunt them down, man. And I mean that in its most aggressive terms, brother. We're going to hunt you down.
What was the reasoning behind? Do you know what led up to it?
Initially, it was somebody owing somebody money. That was on Saturday's deal. And yesterday was retaliatory.
Was there something before that as well?
There was shootings? There was about 2 months ago. Young man was shot in the arm.
And that was tied to this as well?
Yes. Yep. It's all tied to it. Obviously, I've had to be real cautious over the last 2 days on what we tell the media. And it's very difficult for me not to, get on Facebook and go after the folks that are assuming, right, or passing fact off of a rumor that somebody else heard. It's difficult for me to rebuttal that and say, no, you're wrong, because that might open the door for me to give too much information as to what we have, right? And I got to be very delicate with what we do give.
So y'all have a few people in custody.
Yes.
How does somebody that does something like that stick around? Like, I feel like somebody that did that would get out of town.
Confidence, maybe? I don't know. That's rational thinking, folks like you and I. Rational thinking. But I think when we're dealing with criminals like this, right, they're not rational people. They don't think like you and I do. Had they thought like you and I do, they would have pulled the trigger and killed a 14-year-old kid, man.
Right. Do we know the age of the trigger man?
Yes. Well, we have 2 trigger men. One is 18, and I really can't give the other age on another one. But one of them's 18. He's in custody already.
And you can't give the age because they're minors?
No. I just have to be very careful. I can't go down a pathway where I start describing who that other shooter is and whatnot. I just want to, give it a little bit of anonymity.
How many times? And I'm not trying to be insensitive about it.
There's nothing insensitive. It's the truth of what happened.
How many times was he shot?
6.
6 times. And I heard 1 in the face. 2 in the face. So it was personal.
Very. And that's why I admire the people that I have working at the office. That's why.
Because you guys responded to a scene or a phone call. What was it? What was that like?
Thank God the fire chief was in the area. He heard the shots being fired. I don't know. He was first on scene.
Our fire chief.
Fire chief. Now, let that marinate for a little while, man. When we say public servants are special people, he went into a situation, him and another firefighter went into a situation where a 14-year-old was shot multiple times, and he did it without wearing a vest, and he did it without having a gun. But it didn't stop him. He had no clue if the shooter was still around. No clue, man. But it speaks to the individuals that have the courage to do the job, man.
Mm-hmm. What was his approach? What did he go in to do?
I spoke with him this evening about it, and he was going to attempt life saving, but it was a futile. It would have been a futile effort.
Yeah,
I mean, it's unfortunate, man.
So y'all get there, and y'all already know he's not there. Yeah. The murderer is not there.
No, we didn't. It took.
Y'all didn't know.
Yeah, it took. Just speaking to witnesses and whatnot, getting a vehicle description, and then acting on the information and verifying that yes, this truck was in this complex. Yes, as soon as gunshots went off, this truck peeled out and got out of the complex. Right. And with some other intelligence gathering tools, we were able to determine the vehicle make, model, license plate, and eventually canvass the area. And Robstown Independent School District police officer found the vehicle. Yeah, it's amazing.
Wow. So 2 trigger men. Mm-hmm. How many people total involved?
4.
4 that were on the scene.
Yeah.
And participated in the killing of a 14-year-old. 4 individuals.
Speaks to the people they are, brother.
1 14-year-old.
Speaks to the individuals they are.
Wow. Mm-hmm. I was driving into town for that ribbon cutting, and I was over there. I don't know the street where Hermano Solis's or the restaurant is, and there was SWAT and long guns. I saw shields and all kinds of law enforcement. I'm assuming they were apprehending him somewhere in the area. Was he in a vehicle? Or was he at home? Or
So he was at home. Eventually went mobile, and we had already been coordinating with the Marshals Task Force. Brother, the work our detectives did and our OCU detectives did, it's mind-blowing, man. What got him to that point to, where we found one of the suspects.
Tell me a little bit about that if you're able to.
Yeah. Witness testimony helped us out tremendously, man. And then items we find in the truck. Once we searched the truck, we found that suspect vehicle.
How fast?
Probably within an hour.
Abandoned.
Yeah. Secured it, had it towed, secured it at our office for an evidentiary search warrant. Once that search warrant was executed at our office, we located several weapons inside the vehicle. I believe it was 2 pistols and 2 rifles, AR platform rifles.
In the abandoned vehicle?
That's right, yeah.
They left the guns there?
Yeah. Yep. But, just talking to witnesses and corroborating information is what got him there to the other suspect. They picked up a juvenile, early in the morning, this morning, early. And they had him in custody for a different crime. Once they picked him up, that juvenile will hopefully be charged with murder here pretty soon and engaging in organized criminal activity.
Wow.
They did an incredible job, man.
Mm-hmm. How fast do you guys have to be moving on something like that?
Yeah. And that speaks to the experience of the leadership at the police department, the fire department, and the other agencies that came to our aid, because there was quite a few.
So the gentleman that was, or the young man that was picked up today, this morning out there, that the one I'm mentioning, was he armed or was the other one armed when you guys approached him? No.
Thank God for his sake.
Yeah.
I've gone into a lot of houses, man. where we did one last week where it was a burglary in progress, and the homeowner was 100% sure somebody on her Ring camera went in the back door, right? So she gives us the key to the house, starts searching it. We lock down the whole house so nobody can escape. And there's a statement that I made that gives people one opportunity. And it's a truthful statement. All I asked them is, or all I said is, Robstown Police, if you can come out right now with your hands up, I will guarantee your safety. If you don't, I can't guarantee your safety. And that's the truth.
Did he come out?
The God honest truth. Nobody was in there.
Oh, nobody was in there.
Yeah, nobody was in there, man. We searched that house. I mean, top to bottom, man, left to right, nothing, nobody. Yeah.
Mm.
But that's the type of mindset that we have to have. It just is.
So this tragic event here, act of violence, here in Robstown, is it something that's been growing? Is it just a random isolated event? Are we seeing increase in violence like this? What can you tell me about that? Because I mean, we don't see this every day.
Yeah, and the statistics show it, that we have really stemmed the amount of crime in the city.
Good.
Really, really stemmed it. We even reduced, I believe, property theft from last year to this year by like 68%, which is unheard of, right? Unfortunately, last year we had five shootings. This year we with the one that happened this weekend was 6. But I can also say this, that 2 out of those 6 were targeted. I'm sorry, 3 out of 6 were targeted, and it involved all these kids. It's a little group of kids, and that's what it involved. And I will tell you this, Pastor. I'll tell you this. We need parents to do their jobs, brother. My officers are not babysitters.
Mm-hmm.
We will take care of your kids. It's probably not going to be the way you like for us to take care of your kids, by putting them in jail or, detaining them or whatever. Do your job as a parent.
Yeah, our community is, it's not a high economic opportunity area.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately, there are children growing up without strong parental guidance or even presence, right? So, my heart goes out to these children that are growing up without fathers present.
So does mine.
Yeah. But we're still having to deal with the result of it, the fruit of it. And man, it's difficult like that. That's why I think the young futures, Majesty Outdoors, that deals with the fatherless. Men's ministry. We deal a lot with. We minister a lot to men, and we try to encourage strong manhood. It's necessary. We have to bring fatherhood back, and really try to emphasize the importance. I know Mayor Martinez, this past June, we presented to him a proclamation that he made there in the chambers, declaring June as fatherhood recognition month or something like that. So something that has to be done. Authority needs to come back into the home. Fathers need to start taking their roles. So I'm sure that the majority of the people that you guys deal with are coming from a broken home, or is that accurate? Or
I don't.
You guys don't get the statistics.
Yeah, I really don't have like a metric that would give us that, but based off of the experiences we've had, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, this event that just took place yesterday, it is tragic. It is horrible. It was very violent, but I just don't see that is the norm here in Robstown, especially of late. Mayor Martinez brought you on 2 years ago. Is that correct?
Yes, sir. 2 years ago.
and you've been making a big difference here. You have a leadership mindset. I saw you at the Global Summit, Leadership Summit, out here at New Life Church. It was a great event. You got to get up there and speak a little bit. And I don't know if it was spur of the moment or you had time.
No, it was. It was. Yeah.
Well, you brought across a good little teaching there on leadership. Is a leadership study big for you?
It is very, very.
How important
very
is
big.
leadership development for you?
Well, I do a lot of reading, mostly audiobooking. I still count it as reading. My wife always gets on me that
I
it's not
count it
reading.
as reading.
Yes, so I tell her, I said, it's a book. It finished from beginning to end. And I do it for one reason, right? Because the lessons that we need to learn they've been learned by other individuals. So how don't we fail? Simple. Read a book.
Yeah.
Learn about leadership, man. I will say this, that my journey on the leadership topic has always led me back to my days in the Marine Corps. The leadership principles, the leadership traits, there's no difference in what we do in policing and the leadership on the leadership side of the house than it was when I was in the military, man. There's absolutely nothing, you know. There's a really good book. It's by one of my favorite authors. His name is Simon Sinek. And the book is titled Leaders Eat Last. And that, you know, Simon wasn't a Marine, not in the military, nothing. But he got to spend time at Quantico with officer candidates in the Marine Corps, right? And he asked a general, I think it was General Flynn, he asked him, if you could sum up Marine Corps leadership, just one phrase, what would it be? Leaders eat last. That's a powerful statement, man. And it really drives home the cost of leadership. And that cost is simple. That cost is this. When you promote and you lead people, you're not the priority anymore, man. 100% of the people under your charge are the priority. And you know, Pastor, I've caught some slack when I say what I'm to tell you. You know, if I ask people, what is my job as chief of police? What's my job? The vast majority say to keep the city safe. Now, if I was playing the political game, I would say, you know what, you're right. But what's the reality? I'm not the guy keeping citizens safe. My cops are the guys and girls that keep the citizens safe. My job is very singular, man. And that job is simple. My job as a chief of police is to take care of 100% of the people that I have working for me at that building and their families.
Yeah.
That's my job. That's it. That is it. 100% of what I do is to make our people better. That's it, man. In a nutshell, that's what I am. That's what we do. And, you know, people have made comments to me about, well, no, you work for the citizens. I do. You're right. I do. But I wouldn't be a really good chief unless I made my people the priority. Because the way I see it, Pastor, is if I take care of these people and I do my best to take care of their families. And how do we do that? Simple. Make sure that their spouses are home during the kids' birthdays. Be there for your wife on your anniversary, your husband.
Yeah.
Let's get you the time off so you can enjoy those things.
Yeah.
One of us from the command staff, brother, we'll work it. We'll work it, man. That's the cost of leadership.
That's awesome.
It is the cost of leadership, man.
Yeah, Jesus said, if anyone desires to be great, they must become a servant of all.
1,000,000%. 1,000,000%.
Yeah, and a lot of times people who want leadership roles, they are wanting them for the wrong reasons. The motives are off. And it is to serve others. That's servant leadership. And that's what it's about. Because
1,000,000%.
if you can pour into them, you'll benefit. If your people are successful,
that's right.
You will benefit. Speaking of which, you're talking about Jesus, you know, with your background as a Marine, in battle or in wartime, police officer, law enforcement, you see a lot of things. How does your relationship with God help you in your life? And how do you keep that relationship where it needs to be?
Yeah.
Seeing that you have to operate in this environment, in this arena.
Well, And I'm sure that you can agree with me on this, man, that when you see so much evil in this world, and let's face it, when cops get called to a house for something, I can tell you in 25 years, brother, nobody's ever called me to their house and given me a cake or a gift. Or it doesn't happen, man. They call us at their worst times. And that's what our normal is. So has it called into question my faith? No, but I've seen it happen to other officers and other military friends of mine, that if our God is a loving God, how does he allow things like this to happen, right? But then again, this is where my life in church takes over and says, you know what? God through Jesus through his actions has taught us that, in order to get to the great, right? Serve a greater goal, you're going to have to go through some trials and tribulations like Gethsemane. You're going to have to, and everything happens for a reason. Every single thing we do. You may not understand it right now, and most of the time I don't. But it's crazy how in the long run, there's success. It's crazy, man. It is crazy. You got to go through it sometimes, man. You have to.
Yeah.
Today, I had a young man walk in my office. One of my brand new officers. Okay. He came in with the senior detective and they shut the door. I said, Chief, I need to talk to you. And I said, yeah, what's going on, man? It shook him up. Okay. Like I told the officer, it's a brand new cop. He's a brand new officer. Young guy. He's one of those that went straight from college, straight to police. Nothing wrong with it. It's great, man. But he's missed a lot of life experiences other folks might have, right? It's not his fault. He's lived a great life, man. He's made education his purpose. Extremely intelligent, extremely just a great person, man. But he had never been to a scene like that. Never. And here's what I told him. I said, listen, man, here's how you have to rationalize this. Does my heart break for that young man? Yeah. Absolutely, man. I had to tell his parents what happened. I did. I had to hug his dad and feel that sorrow. I'm a father, man. I'm a grandfather. I get it. But the way I see it, that young man right there, he's going to need some warriors on his behalf to get justice. And those people are us. That's what we do. That's what I told that young officer, man. Don't ever forget this event. And you're never going to. I can tell you that. You won't ever forget it. But understand something and rationalize it like this. If not you, then who? If not you here to help out and find this kid's murder, then who? Somebody else. Guess what, man? You have an opportunity that most folks don't ever have. You get to get justice for that young man and his family. That's how you rationalize something like that, man. But it never questions my faith. Because now the way I look at it is, man, God has a plan for me. And he put me in that place at that time for some reason. I might not know it, but it happened. Right? I don't think any human being should ever have to see the stuff that police officers have seen. And I hope to God, man, that no people have to ever experience the stuff that officers have seen throughout a 20-year career.
Right.
But I also believe that Jesus has a plan for everybody. And there's something that we have to witness, or some struggle we have to overcome during those tough times to really understand our purpose and what God meant for us here on earth. I really believe that. And I think that, my career path, Pastor, I thought my career path in law enforcement was over when they disbanded the task force here. I was livid, man. the things that were told to me by my former boss and things that were done behind my back after I dedicated so much of my time to this place. Brother, if you only knew how many hours I worked when I was running the task force here. But now I see why God did it. Now I see. Because had I been keeping that job, I wouldn't be here right now. And that's the beauty of God's plan.
I'm encouraged that you have a relationship with God and that we're able to sit here as grown men and talk about God. I'm seeing a resurgence of that. I'm seeing God being spoken of amongst men. I think in the past they've shied away from it. They've kind of been embarrassed to talk about God, but I'm seeing it everywhere.
Yeah.
All kinds of men in fields like yours, and on podcasts all over, Navy SEALs, Marines, all kinds of very valiant men that are becoming even more valiant because they have a walk with God.
Yeah.
You know, I've said it often that a real man has a relationship with God, right?
Agree.
And that if you are a student of manhood, you will run into God.
Yeah.
And then you're going to have to decide what you're going to do with him. But to maximize your manhood, you have to establish and you have to nurture that relationship with God. You know, I know in Hollywood and the world, commercialization, they try to pacify and really weaken who Jesus was and the strength of him. You know, we have pictures of him with a lamb and, you know, the real gentle guy that just, but when you really study and when you really come down to it, just living life and experiencing a life with the Lord, you find out that Jesus was very strong, a very amazing, obviously the ultimate example of what manhood is supposed to look like. That he was able to walk into a room, flip tables over, and nobody stepped up to him. I'm saying, you try that at the Trade Center, you know, go in there and start flipping tables. People are going to step up to you. But there was something about him. There was an aura about him that he would walk into places and speak some things that would aggravate some people, but still bring it with a confidence and a peace about him. So that was just the scripture talks about people that would go to arrest him and they would come back and say, we've never heard anybody speak like this man before. They couldn't arrest. They were arrested by his persona, by who he was. And I think that we as men, whenever we begin to embrace that and begin to walk with him, we maximize our manhood. We become the man that God has destined us to be. And especially in lines of employment like yours, where you have to deal with some rough stuff. And, you know, for you to be at your best and to excel at what you do, you have to have a strong relationship with the Lord.
Yeah. And you know, and I'll go even a little bit deeper with that, you know, I'll go back to that question you asked me about leadership. Name a better leader.
Mm-hmm.
Can't.
You can't.
Can't. You're talking to a man that brought in, well, I mean,
we're talking about him today.
Yeah, right. And remember, man, there's no social media. There's no way to find out about this guy in different lands. And he certainly didn't walk the ground here in the United States. But guess what? You and I are here today in his house. Still talking about him.
Becoming the ultimate servant.
Yeah.
Greater love has no man than this, that he would lay down his life for his friends.
Yeah.
And here we are, like we said, talking about
So
our
there's
master.
There's so many parallels there, right? And you gave a really good one a little while ago, the analogy of him with the sheep, right? Tell me a police officer doesn't do the same. Right? And I'm not saying the police people that we police are sheep. I'm not saying that. I'm saying that we're caregivers. I'm saying that we care enough to say, like Jesus, I'm not going to let you hurt our people. And if you do, guess what? You're going to pay a price, man.
Right. Such strength with the gentleness at the same time.
Yeah.
That's powerful. I heard someone say that a man will draw a circle around his family and give his life to protect it. A good man will draw a circle around his loved ones and friends and give his life to protect them. A great man will draw a circle around everyone and give his life to protect them.
1,000,000%.
Yeah,
I agree.
I think you guys' profession kind of really puts y'all on a spot where y'all do that. Chief, you know, we were talking about earlier about the mayor and you being here. You have been an asset to our community. You've been a blessing to our community. And we've been talking about leadership also, and I'll end with this because I think that it is important for our community to know that that the mayor brought you here.
Yeah.
I remember him talking to me about the decision that he was making, bringing you in.
Yeah.
And
It's tough, man.
yeah, it's decisions that are made that are make or break, right? A leader doesn't have to know how to do everything. He needs to pick the right people.
That's right.
And put them in the right positions.
That is effective
And
leadership.
and I think he did a great job in picking you and putting you here. And we're in election season here, and in a couple of weeks they will be voting in the runoff. And I know I saw some social media stuff where that you'll have a job here regardless of who wins. I don't know that would be the case because it takes a strong leader to know strong leadership.
Yeah.
And I don't know that somebody else would appreciate what we have in you. And that's why I really, really support our mayor in getting reelected, because he's bringing in people like yourself. And that's a valuable trait.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I think, I came to Robstown in 17 when I was commanding the task force, right? And I always heard the same thing about chiefs, right? Leadership selects them so they can run the department,
Mhm.
right? And think about that. I'll tell you what's made us successful, and I consider our department a very successful department. What's made us successful is this one thing, that the mayor realizes he doesn't know anything about law enforcement.
Mhm.
Because he doesn't, right? He has a leader that does, and he's empowered me to run the agency without some unrealistic idea that somebody who's never been in policing ever is going to tell a department head of a law enforcement agency how he should run his department and what he should or shouldn't do. That is just mind-blowing to me, man. Mind-blowing to me. Like, it just is.
Mhm.
I will always 1,000,000% take advice from our council, from the mayor, from our city attorney, from our city, all the time. But I don't always act on it
Mhm.
because I know policing.
Yeah.
And I take that with a grain of salt because 9 times out of 10, they don't. And there's nothing wrong with that. It's not a knock on them.
Mhm.
But I think that approach that the mayor has taken and to allow me to do my job is what's gotten us to the place we are now.
Amen.
That's the way I feel. Like it's, there should be some civilian oversight in policing,
Mhm.
right? But folks that have never done this job should not be telling folks like me,
Right.
who have 25 years experience, how to do the job.
Mhm.
Now, if I don't meet the expectations, I've told the mayor, brother, all you got to do is tell me to walk away. You don't trust me.
Mhm.
I'm not going to fight you.
Mhm.
I need my boss to believe in me.
Yeah.
That's the only way we're going to be successful, man. The minute he doesn't trust my decisions or believe in what I do, I should walk away
Mhm.
because I'm doing him a disservice,
Right.
And we are successful because we are allowed to be successful.
That's good. And it takes a good leader to be able to put somebody in position and let them do what they do. and not micromanage. So
Yeah.
I congratulate him for that. I congratulate him for the choice. We'll be putting you in position. We'll be praying for you guys in the coming days. I know you guys have a lot still to be done with this case. So I pray that God would lead y'all and guide y'all, give y'all wisdom and guidance and direction and protection and everything that you guys do in protecting our community and seeing to it that it is safe. And so, Chief Mike Tamez, thank you so much for joining me in the den.
Thank you for giving me this opportunity, man. Love the conversation, and I truly appreciate your leadership in this community. It's very, very evident that you care for the people here, that you support our leadership, and you empower folks like me to do the job with a renewed sense of responsibility that you know that I have and how much I love this job. So thank you. Thank you for everything you've done for this community.
Thank you so much, Chief.
Absolutely, Pastor. Thank you.